To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. So yesterday it was 70 degrees and today it's winter. It turned cold. This morning there was actually huge snowflakes. I wasn't prepared for it. I didn't bring any wood into the house so it could keep dry from the rain. And so I've been struggling trying to get a fire going all morning. I brought in a bunch of little branches. You know, some days you just want to kind of knock off the chill. So I've been collecting up little branches like this, and you can run the stove for just a few minutes. It warms the house up because it's a tiny house, and that's all it takes to warm it. But this morning I woke up and it was 54 degrees in the house, and so it required an actual log, and it just wasn't going to go. But I finally got it. It's going now. I got enough wood dried out now. You know, the surface of the wood. So today I can't get much done. It's just too cold, wet, and muddy. I've worked pretty hard in the last few days. I've been busting up all that wood there. And then I got the chicken coop done, which I'll talk about here in a minute. I thought I'd do some question answers video. I know I just did one recently, and sure enough, I said in that video that I always get chewed out on my question answer videos. Somebody will cuss me out. Sure enough, I got an email. It's amazing. People do not like the question answer videos. Got an email. He said, I'm about ready to tell you to F off. And he went on to this big tirade about, you know, how superior he is in all aspects. I don't understand why the question answer videos make so many people irate. It's just me living my life. You've asked me a question and I'm answering the question the way I do my life. I would assume it's jealousy, because they always put in their qualifications. I've got so many years of experience, and you can tell they don't. You know, no matter what you say in your question and answer video, you talk about YouTube, I ran a vlog for 20 years. And in the same email, I've been living off grid for 50 years. And it's like, well, how did you do both? I know it's pretty complicated to do both, because back before smartphones, how did you actually have internet? So it doesn't make any difference. It's just interesting how people do things. I ordered all the components I need to repair my well. And I understand this is very confusing, so I brought demonstration pieces. So my well liner is cracked. A well liner is a big tube. It's a metal steel tube, 6 1/4 inches in inner diameter. And it goes all the way down, I think, to bedrock. Now the bedrock is where the water is. You don't want groundwater coming in. So right here at the surface, you don't want that water coming in down into your bedrock. The bedrock water is very clean. And groundwater is dirty, it's sediment. The well casings will crack. Over time, they'll break. So when they crack, groundwater is now seeping into that crack down into the bedrock water. It contaminates the bedrock water, the good drinking water. Well, there's a way to fix it. What you do is you put in a well liner. And this is 2 inches. But what you do is you get a 4-inch pipe. So let's just pretend this is 4 inches. And you're going to run this down inside your well casing. Now, the thing is you have to buy a well packer. And I bought the well packers. It's $92. And you can buy them online. Just type in well packer. Something will show up. The well packer looks like a piece of PVC with O-rings around it, rubber O-rings, like 6 of them. And they're blue, and in my case, they're blue. They come in different colors, black, but the blue one is the most standard one for PVC. And so you'll get this O-ring, okay? The O-ring then seals up against my hand being, let's just assume my hand is the well casing, the metal. So the O-ring seals up against the metal casing. So now you have a seal between the outside diameter of this PVC and the inside diameter of the well casing. Now, let's say this is my well packer. This is the O-ring. So now groundwater is going to collect from here up. Okay? That leaves the inside of the PVC with clean water. So you run your pump down inside the PVC, and so you've just created a new well casing is what you've done, making the old one obsolete. The problem is my pump is a 5-inch pump. So I had to buy a new pump also because I'm going down to 4-inch pipe now. This is a 6-inch, this is 4-inch, so I bought myself a 3-inch pump. Now it has less horsepower, which is a good thing, and this is something else I didn't think of in the last video I talked about. It actually has less gallons per minute, which is really cool for me. So the one I have is 30 gallons per minute, and it empties the well within a couple minutes. The one I'm buying is 18 gallons or 15 gallons, about half I think, per minute. So it will empty the well a lot slower. And that's important because right now, so I have to regulate the pump with this. So I turn it, I slow it down. So the problem with that is you gotta be careful because you gotta have enough water going through the pump that it doesn't burn up your pump. You cannot run a pump dry. It's called deadhead. What happens is if you shut this valve off, water inside the pump will turn to steam and it'll burn up your pump. So I've noticed that you got to have about 5 gallons per minute coming out of that pump that I have. Having one that's 18 gallons per minute, I won't have to regulate it as much. I slow it down just a little bit and it should be fine. Once I get the well liner done, then I'm gonna have to shock the well again. And when you shock the well, what you're doing is you dump bleach down into the well. Just straight bleach. You pump the water back into it, so you take the end of that hose and you put it right back into the well and you let it recirculate for a couple minutes, get it good and stirred up, and that bleach kills all the bacteria. And then you pump all that water out of the well, and then that's shocking the well. That cleans the well so your water is not contaminated. And I've heard that you should do that like once a year anyways. So it'll be nice to get this fixed, because right now, in order for me to get clean water, I have to flush the well 2 or 3 times, you know, pump the water completely out of it before I can get clean water. A lot of work, and also uses the generator more. Okay, one of the questions, and it's not a question, I think people just think that I'm an abusive person to animals. And I am the most loving person. If I have empathy for anything, it's animals. I take care of this stray cat, and when it comes around, I get so excited. Well, it's not stray, it's a feral cat. It doesn't want anything to do with me. It comes around for food and then leaves. And I get so excited for this cat. Well, the chickens, I guess people think I'm just gonna harm them, that I'm not responsible enough to have chickens. People are very concerned that my chickens are gonna get too hot in the summer. And I mean, this is science. This is basic information. Aluminum, if you look at aluminum, you heat aluminum up. Take a torch, heat it up, turn it bright red. And within a couple seconds, aluminum dissipates its heat. It's conductive material. And so it's going to absorb whatever temperature you're putting into it. If you're heating it up, it's going to heat up. If you're cooling it off, it's going to cool off. Well, this is aluminum plated metal. It's shiny. And so what it does is it reflects heat. So it's actually the most efficient siding that you can put on your house. That's one of the reasons we did it to our house, was it reflects heat. It's going to help us be more efficient. It's not going to retain heat. I just got an email that said, you're going to kill your chickens at nighttime because this metal is going to hold all that heat in that it collected throughout the day. That's just not true. You can Google this. I mean, that's the thing, is Google is so prominent now. The other thing is you have no ventilation in that thing. You got to have ventilation. My ventilation is right there. The entire floor is a screen window. It's off the ground. Look at that. All that air coming up. I had this design before, except I used vinyl siding. And that's the thing, is vinyl siding would have actually retained the heat more than metal. Vinyl is not conductive. Metal is. This metal will cool off as soon as the temperature cools off. I don't know how to explain it any better. If you don't believe it, then it's just science. And the other thing is it's not like I'm just going to dump the chickens off in here and forget about them. I baby my animals, always have. If I think it's too hot in here, you can guarantee that I'm going to be out here all night making sure that they're okay and they're comfortable and they're sleeping well. That's just who I am. The run is for daytime use. You know, people keep saying, that's not going to hold back raccoons. It's not very often you see a raccoon during the day. This is going to be covered with chicken wire on the top, so my biggest concern about daytime use is birds of prey. Otherwise, I would just let the chickens run all over the place by themselves. I've done that in the past. I know a lot of people that do it. One person said, I got 60 years with raising chickens. You can't use metal. Well, okay, you got 60 years raising chickens, but do you have 60 years of engineering degrees or anything to tell me about metal? I mean, I don't know the correlation between metal, engineering, and science or raising chickens. There's no correlation. However, I've been in chicken farms. You know what they use for chicken confinements? Steel. Galvanized steel. Big, huge, dome-looking, long buildings. If you've got 60 years raising chickens, you might want to check out, you know, some of the chicken confinements. I hope I can inspire you to do your research when you're living your dream. Thanks for watching.